7 are original to the time when Barkerville is an operating gold rush town. So what on earth are we waiting for?
Yay! Party! Party!
Party！
我们刚开始对，刚开始走 Jessica 去上厕所。
There is going to be filming, right, and no one else is.
Yeah.
All right. So no recording over there. You can take your photos for doing. Thank you very much. So I wanted to stop us here very briefly because I do want to just clear up a little piece of misinformation that many of you bring with you when you come to see us here at Barkerville. Barkerville will never be a ghost town. So right from the time that Mr. Billy Barker strikes it rich upstream in the year of 18... show up to visit us, there is always something going on here. And for that reason, you are not only going to see people and buildings from my time. Now, my time is our original mastermind gold rush in the 1670s and a little bit more. You are going to see our entire history. I mean, most of you will have walked into Barkerville this morning through a very modern looking building in your time. Whereas just behind us over there, we have 2 wooden churches. These are from my time, and my time is what many of you will refer to as the Victorian. Now, just over the road from those churches, there's a little sign up in front of the shop there that says confectionery, and that is a sweetie shop from the 1930s. And the 1930s sees the second big Caribou Gold Rush, the hard rock mining era of Barkerville and Wales. Now, we've got a little strip of buildings along here, and we like to call these now, a fellow by the name of is born in England in the year of 1862. So he is born exactly the same year that Barkerville is born. But when he reaches his very early adulthood, Mr. Tregellis decides that he would like a big adventure, and he's coming to North America, and he ends up writing on Williams Creek. And he will spend most of the rest of his life living in that little yellow and blue house down there. Now, Mr. Tregellis will pass away right here on Williams Creek in the year of 1962, just shy of his 100th birthday. So he's going to see a few things happen at Williams Creek. He will arrive right in time to see the dying days of our first gold rush. He will live through our second gold rush, and he will indeed still live in that little house in the year of 1958, the year that Barkerville becomes an historic site. Now, upon the death of his final surviving child, his daughter Mildred, in the year of 1998, all of the Tregellis property will be given to Barkerville. So the Tregellis family are instrumental in the museology of Barkerville. There's another very good word for you. You people should be writing these down. Now, museology is the art and science of creating a museum. So not only do the Tregellis family give us their physical building, they give us a large collection of photographs that they have taken over decades of residency and oral histories, their own personal memories of living and growing up right here in Barkerville. So as we walk through town, I'll point out a few other areas of museology, but for now, let's go. Now, I can see we've got 1 or 2 children with us, so I will take a moment just now to apologize to the parents. And the confectionery in your time is indeed an operating school.
Whoa! Where did Kayla go? Oh. Whoa, so cool.
You know what? I really want to do something before I die. I want to smoke it.
I'm going to repeat something that I
Whoa,
said
so cool.
worth repeating. The great gold rushes of my time mobilized the world. So for the very first time in human history, what is it that gets people moving from one side of the world to the other? It is gold. But here is what I have not yet told you. The vast majority of these people are men. Not a lot of women come to the great gold rushes. Now, men are not coming to settle down in a new land. They are coming to strike it rich and head back home again. Not quite the way it turns out, but it is the initial intention. So if miners are married, very rarely will they bring their wives and families with them. Do you know, we estimate that at the height of this gold rush along Williams Creek, for every 100 men, there's about 1 woman. Ladies, we are great. Now, you will notice that I am speaking in a rather strong gender binary: men, women, boys, girls. And this is the way we think in my time. And not only do we think in this very strong gender binary, we also think in very strong gender roles. If you were born a boy, here is what your life will look like. If you were born a girl, here is what your life will look like. Now let's go back to that sobering statistic: 1 woman for every 100 men. But obviously, there are settler women here, I'm here. And we come here in different ways and for different reasons. Now, I happened to come to North America aboard the very first bride ship in 1862, and the bride ships are a short-lived attempt to import British women to the colony of British Columbia. Now, there are other women who come as entrepreneurial business women. Some come as hurdy-gurdy dancing girls. I'll tell you a bit more about their story when we get up the road. But there are some who do come as wives of miners. So take the example of the lady who operates this establishment, Mrs. Catherine Parker. Now, Mrs. Parker arrives here as the wife of a miner. She has a look around, she sees all these men and hardly any women, and of course, absolutely no offense is intended to you most kind gentlemen here with me this morning, but she does take note of the fact that so many of these men don't know how to do anything for themselves, whereas we ladies have been trained since our girlhoods in the domestic arts. Well, Mrs. Parker spots an opportunity. For the very first time in her life, people will be willing to pay her for her very considerable domestic expertise. She can cook, she can clean, she can keep a house. So like many ladies, Mrs. Parker opens a boarding house. So it is $12 a week to stay here at Mrs. Parker's boarding house. Keep in mind, this will not secure your bed for the entire day. Our mines operate 24 hours a day, divided into 2 12-hour shifts. So the minute you get up to go to work, there is someone right there to take your bed from you. I see a nice gentleman here in a black hat. It says 406 on it. Where are you from, sir? Montana. How exciting. All right, I'm going to need you up here at the end of this boardwalk, so you stay down on the road. Come on. Just arrived here on Williams Creek. Here is your very first opportunity to gaze up on Main Street. But this is not exactly what Barkerville looks like when I first see it. So I arrive here in 1863. I see Barkerville for the very first time, and this Main Street is about half as wide. Boardwalks go up and down, they break off in odd places, and for the most part, the buildings are right up against each other. So when I first see Barkerville, it really does have the look of a classic boom town, a town that has been built in a hurry as people arrive. So why does it look different the first time you see it? Well, this is almost entirely due to the fact that in the year of 1868, Barkerville experiences a devastating fire. In 1 hour and 20 minutes, this town burns to the ground. This town burns to the ground in the month of September. Winter likes to come to Williams Creek in the month of October. So we need to start rebuilding our town immediately after the fire. But this time, rather than build as people arrive, we're rebuilding at the same time. We have a unique opportunity to make some improvements. So the very first thing we decided as a community is we would like the Main Street twice as wide as it had been, so 2 stagecoaches can pass. We made the boardwalks nice and uniform. We put the buildings the same distance back from the road because look how pretty that looks. We put spaces between the buildings. If there is another fire, we would certainly prefer it not jump from building to building as quickly. And we add fire lanes. In other words, when we rebuild Barkerville, we do so with fire prevention in mind and with permanent settlement in mind. So that day in 1868 will certainly go down in our memories as an awful day. I lose everything I own in under 2 hours. But he's also a really important one. And likely the main reason all of you are able to stand here on the main street of Barkerville in your year of 2023 is because of how well we rebuilt this town after the Great Fire of 1868. And one of the buildings that is constructed very shortly after the fire is right here. St. Saviour's Anglican Church, the Church of England, which was presided over by Reverend James Raymond, who is specifically ordained in Port Victoria for the purpose of coming here to William Creek. But when the Reverend arrives, he's a little bit disappointed. No one's really bothered to inform him that there will not be a church here waiting for him. So he holds his initial services in a saloon. He does have a remarkably good congregation, all filled with spirit, but he really wants his own church. So he purchases this little plot of land, and together with his two very small sons, Reverend Reynard begins construction of St. Saviour's Church in November of 1869. Now, November is not an ideal time to build here in the Caribou, but he does have this very firm goal in his mind. He would like the doors to St. Saviour's Church open for the very first time for Christmas Day services, 1869, and he meets that goal. Wow. I am one of 3 parishioners to attend the very first service ever held at St. Saviour's. Not the most comfortable I've ever been on a Christmas morning. There is no roof on the church on Thursday, but eventually the Reverend finishes up the church. He throws open the doors, and the miners do not come spilling out of the saloons to attend church service. In fact, he has so much trouble inspiring the congregation to attend his services that eventually the miners begin to take some pity on the poor Reverend, and they start something called Parsons Poker. They play a round of poker every Saturday evening. Losers come to church the next day. So that's done exceptionally well for the Reverend. Now we're just going to pass by William Street Schoolhouse. You know, we do not even have a school teacher on William Street until the year of 1893. We start to feel the need of a school teacher, so we ask for one, and the government sends us. So 14 years old is the official age of graduation from our schoolhouse, but most children actually leave at a slightly younger age, okay, about the age of 12. Now, in my time, in my culture, when a young lady reaches the age of 12, she is considered to have reached legal marriageable age. I know that's going to sound very shocking to your ears, so I'll take a moment to reassure you, this really is not something that happens. Girls don't get married at 12 years old, we understand that's still childhood, but it does mean that sometimes a young lady will be withdrawn from school about this age to be trained in the domestic arts. Now, by the time a young man reaches the age of 12, how old's that one there? 10. Hold it for a moment. Let's have a look at it. 10 years old. All right. So in 2 years' time, you have to decide what you're going to do with your life. Have you started that process? I can see by your
No, it's WeChat.
So I am here to rescue you from
It's
a
live
life
streaming.
I know.
Do you want
so
to
you
show up?
could in 2 years' time take on an apprenticeship. You could go work for a blacksmith or a farrier or a baker. That's not a much.
You can use it to girl. 14-year-old.
That would only be wasted condition. It would be a 12-hour shift, but I'd be willing to pay you $2. Oh, we're going to keep negotiating. I see why this one might be a lawyer.
Oh.
还要往后走，还要往后走。
In Port Victoria. And then we decide the very next time we are going to go. So we're delighted to meet again up here. I will stay here for about 10 years.
你在 Thunder Bay， 是我的一个噩梦。你居然在 Thunder Bay，
So he will be a gold.
我现在还聊到了 Thunder Bay， 加拿大50联盟吗？50盟主，你在 Thunder Bay， Thunder Bay 怎么样？
So 18 idea that word gets out all over the world about these great and people start trying to get here. But the idea of world travel in 1862 is fairly new. It's really hard to get wherever it is you're trying to go. And in the case of this gold rush, there is not even a road leading in and out of this area. So people
露脸可以露脸啊。
are creative about how they get here. Now, all the way over in Canada in 1862, that is Ontario and Quebec, a group of businessmen very closely following the story of this gold rush in their newspapers, getting really excited about the idea of coming here. But the main way to get from that side of North America to this side of North America in the year of 1862 is by sailing around south, going round the Horn, and that is months. This is a gold rush. They don't have that sort of time. So they think, well, let's find a better way. So they start doing some research. Now, this is a moment in history where little upstart transportation companies are popping up there. So they find fires to carry them as far as
我们在加拿大 B 市的一省，离温哥华有800公里的巴克韦尔小镇，然后这个是有150年历史的小镇，大家可以看一下。然后所有的工作人员都穿着中世纪的衣服，然后现在大家看到迎面的是马车。
The boron.
Number 16, 20.
The boron.
以前那个女的，以前哪个女的？
Now, when the overlanders leave Scorpio, that's the biggest fish that they will be attacked by. And now they are being embraced. The first group goes last and is put on the road. Their intention really is no longer to come to this gold rush, they've got a new intention. Let's go past us, go down to the coast to look at the river. Now the other group goes raft and they put them on the coast. They are going to
They heard a star. 2.5 weeks later, they heard one.
图书馆 ，library。马上，我借过一下，看一下图书馆。这是1863年的图书馆。 是由 Florence Wilson， 他带了非常多的书。哎，哦 ，sorry。Chloe，我等一下带你去看我们第1年来住的那个非常恐怖的酒店。
That's where I bought my steak with my barbecue.
us who participate in this gold rush, we do not spend our winter. We don't spend our winter. And that's because we are not and the ground is frozen solid.
I'm gonna read there.
So we'll go off somewhere. Maybe San Francisco, maybe New York. But some of us stay. I mean, I'm one of the people who stays and helps people to home. And then there are those people who stay to watch over mining things and all the blacksmiths. Blacksmiths stay all year long. In fact, the fortunes blacksmiths keep operating for 24 hours a day, 365 days a week, because they are working mining. In the autumn, for the miners.
我准备关。